Hello. Hey, can you hear me well, guys? Oh my, the cars, the cars are cold, are cold again. I always place them next to the heater to see if they will get warm because they're so cold. Well, being in here, I do have to get like a furniture with the door so I can, keep them in, keep them locked. Usually I display them on a shelf, and maybe that makes like the whole room is cold. So I'm preparing to go to work, so just wanted to stop by. Oh, thank you, Samara, for stopping by. Have a great day at work. Fighting, I know it's tough, but let's keep advancing. Um, Cancer season is here. Cancer season is here. So the chariot. Let's keep advancing. With our own emotionality. Let's keep advancing, guys. Yeah, let's just keep going. Let's keep the chariot card going. Um, Hakim, Hakim, the dream. No, I'm not taking requests for readings. I already have arranged what I'm going to do. I'm going to read for BTS members in the romance aspect of their lives for this year, for what is left of this 2025. So yeah, I'm going to be focusing on that subject, on each one of the members, and that's it. Yeah. So yes, this is going to be, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to, do for each one of the members. So this is going to be like the one and only opportunity time that I'm going to do this reading for them when it comes to the romantic life or what's available for them in that aspect. So yeah, if you then want to keep asking about this and about, who is this, who is dating, this is going to be like the one time I dedicate for them, for the group, and then that's it. That's the information I'm going to give for this 2025. So yeah, let's hope for the best for the guys, because um, romance is tough for everyone. It's a whole experience. Sometimes we are lucky, and we find and meet amazing people who we connect with, and they meet our needs and our desires. But then also, when you are super busy, when you are not looking for that, sometimes you just have to embrace, having time for yourself, and maybe, building a better connection with yourself, a better relationship with yourself. So yeah, let's see for them how it is. It's moisty at my place. Here I'm freezing. I'm freezing. I'm freezing. Also, my hair is crazy today, guys. Don't look at it too much. I know it's a lot of hair, so it's impossible to miss, but it's because I just wash it, and it gets crazy like this. So let's just let it be. It has a personality of its own. Also, look, my God, I received today through the mail, finally came my new oracle, my new addition to my collection of oracles and tarot. Um, this is the oracle of Archangel San Rafael. Um, so yeah, this is mostly, when it comes to Archangel Raphael, it's mostly for well-being, health, um, related things. But I connect so well with its energy. I don't know much about angels and archangels, but um, um, it's like last year I believe I connected very well with Archangel Raphael in specific. I did ask for my cat's health back then, and I asked for myself, for my dad, for my whole family, and I felt very much at peace, not just focusing on, requesting things, because usually this is what happens with faith. Sometimes we turn to faith or prayers when we need them, or when we are in need. So for me, it's more like, I saw the oracle, and I connect so much with the beautiful energy of the archangel. So I'm like, how about having an oracle? I would want to get a message. And I think that for a lot of my clients, they also, some of them often ask me, not for health related, questions or subjects, because I don't read for health. I'm not a doctor, so I don't read for those subjects. But sometimes it doesn't have to be, like, oh, it's more like, I want to be better, or I want to feel better, or I want to be okay in my mind, in my body, in my spirit. So I would want a message, from the angels or from the. I don't have much oracles of angels, but the one that I did have, that I did use here, it was very interesting to get the messages. So yeah, for today, I'm like, even though this is going to be romantic, I'm like, I'm going to pull, one card for each member to see, what they get out of this beautiful new oracle that I possess. So yeah, it's going to be premiering today. It's going to be its first reading. Um, so yeah, no spamming, guys. If you see someone spamming, you have my permission. You can block it. Um, there's no need to be insistent. I already mentioned, I said what I'm going to do, who I'm going to read for. It's in the title, it's in the image of the video. So let's stop, being a bit much in the comments, please. Please don't forget to leave a like, guys. I appreciate it. It helps my channel a lot. So don't forget to leave a like if you can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know flamingos. I know it's crazy. I know it. I know it. I know it. It's just that people are toxic in general. Like I've been noticing, I don't know if it's because of the state of the world today, how we are, I think that after the pandemic, everything just got ruined. I don't know. Uh, and people's minds as well. People's minds as well. they they cannot take anything seriously, but I guess that it sort of makes sense, especially because for me it took me a long time to actually get to a place where I had been very blessed in that sense, that I have a community of people very intelligent, very, with strong opinions, with, critical thinking, people that have their lives, they have their, they go out, they go and touch some grass, they have aspirations. So, and they have opinions, and this is a safe place to share those opinions. And I'm so thankful because I think that sometimes when you mix, celebrities, or in this case K-pop, and you mix with tarot, there's people that really they think that this is like a game, like, using the Ouija board. Like, people really think that this is like, let's ask whatever, like, let's ask whatever. And 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 for me it has been a journey where I'm like, it's okay that I don't have many people with me, but at least the ones that I do have in my community, they are very intelligent. They add so much to the dynamics, the readings, the ideas for the readings, the continuous growth of the channel. I wouldn't be able to grow the way I did because they were the ones who were like, I have an idea, or I have this question. And I think that that's how we made this place, um a place with a purpose, that is not just to pull cards because, I'm in love with an idol, so I bought a tarot deck so I can gossip about their lives. It's not about that. The tarot is very serious. It's a serious tool. So if you're not ready to hear the truth, and if you don't have the ability or the intelligence or the listening comprehension. I know my English is not perfect because I don't speak English I'm not a native. I don't speak English, but I tried all these years. I tried my best to not sound repetitive, to make myself understood. I know my accent is very strong, and with some Korean names I also have issues pronouncing them, but I do try. And for me, I think that what is important is that the person that wants to listen to my reading, they will listen no matter what. They will listen anyways, even if there's moments where they're like, I what did you say in there? Because I didn't understand what you were talking about. But yeah, hey Hope, um, I'm so I'm so thankful for that, because it must be really awkward to you being a real good tarot reader, or you being really good, reading. There's people that they are mediums, they say, or they have some kind of, tool, or they are just really good at reading body language. I don't know. There's people with a lot of talent on the internet. Um, but there's always this, at least for me, that I'm 40 now. Like, I want to be taken seriously, because this is serious for me. Every time I pull cards, for me, it's not like, oh well, I'm going to pull cards just because. Um, for me, it's a responsibility. um, and I think that some people think that it's not serious, but yes, it's serious, and um, it's a moment of introspection. It's also what we do with what we hear, with what we this is why I'm like, I for my way of reading, the message that I get is the message that I get. Then, if you want to make your own interpretation of the cards or what you think is going on, you go and you do the reading yourself on your own. But my interpretation is, what I'm saying in the moment. And if I don't say something, I don't mention something, it's because I don't see it. And if I don't see it, it's because in my perception, in my abilities to read the cards, it's not there. So um, it's like I have been doing this for a very long time, so I don't care if people believe me not or not, but I do appreciate people that they give very interesting feedbacks, because I'm always learning. So I love when people give me feedbacks about situation, uh, because the energy or what is available in the cards can be so rich or so vast that you sometimes it's really hard to grasp the meaning exactly, and be like, oh yeah, and here I see a woman like this, this is her height, her nationality, she works in this, she lives here. It's not that specific with the cards. How are you, Hope? Okay, I'm going to start with the members. I think that I have everything, so yeah, I'm going to start. Also, I have to get a new I have to get a new book, because in here actually I was able to use it the most. I have 2020 24 for the channel, the live streams and everything, and then I have 2025. 2025. So, and I'm running out of pages, so I'm going to get a new notebook, because I'm running out of pages. But I'm trying to use them all. It has been very productive the years. Always, thank God. Okay, I'm going to start with Namjoon. Romance for 2025 for him. hope if you're around and if there's a spamming in the chat, please can you block? I don't have the channel on at the moment. Or I'm going to give wave flamingo, don't move. I'm going to give also flamingo I don't know if she can or they can. I also put you as moderator. So if you see something, you can block it. Okay, for Namjoon, for RM, for Romance, this 2025, we start with the Emperor. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Page of Cups in the middle. We have the Seven of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. And then from the Oracle of the I Ching of Love, we have the card of Waiting. Waiting. And then from the Oracle of Archangel Raphael, we have the keyword, the message is like stretch, stretch. Like it's sort of like advising Namjoon to stretch, to do some stretching. Maybe he has been feeling a bit rigid in the body, so it feels like it has to do with flexibility, with movement, with maybe some muscles being tense because of this aspect of his life, of romance in general. Maybe he gets a bit tense in the body, or his back hurts, or his posture gets a bit like like it's a bit painful, so a bit of a stretching for him is necessary. And here there's a prayer that is said, "Beloved Archangel Raphael, thank you for being by my side and cheer me to take and guide me to support myself or take care of myself in every aspect." So yeah, he has to watch his posture and probably be more flexible physically. There's something about romance that it gets him in a weird posture. Um, yeah, and also the oracle of the I Ching of love, waiting. It feels very. It feels like he's waiting for someone, like his energy when it comes to love. Even though I do see someone, I do see a person that is giving their love, their attention to him. It can be someone younger than him. And I think that he's open to this person, but he's also a bit evasive. I think that I don't see him that romantic, honestly. I think that he loves the idea of love, but there's something about maybe everything that he has gone through lately, that it had it had affected his ability to feel romantic somehow, because we start with the Emperor and the Seven of Swords for Namjoon. So it feels rigid. You know how I'm telling you about, this card from the Oracle of Archangel Raphael, that it says a stretch. Um, it's like, there's something about his posture being a bit rigid when it comes to relationships, also a bit evasive, um, um, it's like you're like, okay, you are being sweet to someone, or maybe someone is being, flirtatious towards you, and you take it, and maybe you flirt a bit, but then you get on commander's mode, with the emperor is giving me that he, from time to time, he feels a bit bossy in relationships, or he has a sort of attitude of like, okay, here, I will set the rules, or this is how we are going to do this. If you want to be with me, these are the rules. Or, but also the Seven of Swords is like this, this very like um dual, a bit weird of, him probably being like, telling the other partner like, okay, if you want to be with me, you have to do this, or you have to follow the rules, otherwise you will not be able to be with me, we will not have this relationship, we have to follow a structure, I have to tell you, how to do this, because, I'm important, or, my opinion matters. We cannot be spontaneous. There has to be, some rules that you have to follow. But the Seven of Swords is giving me that he's telling you to not do something maybe, but then he doesn't apply it himself. So it feels a bit selfish, like you have all these rules for this person about what to do and what to do when he's in a relationship with you. But then when it comes to your part, you don't do it, or you evade also your responsibilities. So it's a bit confusing, Namjoon, in this. I think that honestly, love is in the air because we have the Page of Cups in the middle. So definitely there's something. I don't know if he's resuming his connection with someone, because I feel like this is not new, but it feels like it's starting over. And with the Page of Cups, it feels romantic. It feels cute. It feels naive, even, I would say. Like, there's a bit of awkwardness, like from his part, that he's trying to play like the role of the big boss, and there's something about him wanting. I don't know if he wants to sound like he's older, like he's wiser. Um, but there's a level of like, when I see these cards, I'm like, I don't believe what you promote. Like, there's something about him not keeping his promises when it comes to a connection or someone. So but also the Seven of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, maybe this relationship is starting, or is, there's like a new phase that is starting. It's like a new times for them, like a new beginning. So everything feels very unstable. Like, yeah, like there's efforts. It's like him seeing this person, or him, spending time with this person, making time to see this person. But the Two of Pentacles is like, I don't know if this is love. I would say I'm flattered. I'm I'm like, okay, I feel flattered, like I feel good about myself. He receives the love, and also he probably gives a bit back, but it's still very, it's not like he's putting the effort 100%. I think that he's still, with the Two of Pentacles at the end, he's still evaluating. Maybe he has another person in mind. So he's like evaluating, like, okay, is this going to be it? Is this person for me? um I think he feels honored. Like, definitely there's something about him liking talking to this person. He likes it, but there's moments where he evades himself, and probably because of the military, the enlistment, and everything. There's something that, yeah, I didn't call you because I was so busy, but it's more like I wasn't available emotionally or mentally. I was thinking about something else. Honestly, like I think that his ability to be 100% present in a relationship is still not there. It's not in 2025. It's not in 2025. I think that he enjoys this person's company. He likes this person. He feels there's something about him feeling like, wow, I like it. This person makes me feel special, and I like it. I like it, but it's still very green to call it a relationship. And I think that maybe he will have a sort of temptation at the end, or someone. I don't see another person, but it could be that he is being presented with two possibilities. So there's something about him not going all in for this person. Um, yeah, and see the car of waiting. He's like taking his time in romance. Probably he's taking his time, and also with the kind of a stretch. Like he must do some stretching exercises, because there's something about his posture just feels very rigid. He gets very very nervous, or he gets very uncomfortable. um there's something about him wanting to evade this person from time to time. So I'm like, do you really like them or not? I think that he does, but there's like escapism, the Seven of Swords again. So it feels like he's not that invested. uh but his ego feels good. He's like, yeah, I like it. I like to be appreciated, or for this person to be romantic with me. It's something that he's like, this is good. This is good. But it's still the beginning. I wouldn't say like this is going to last. I think that it feels good now, for now. But maybe it's a very young and new love. It feels very experimental in experience, but with a lot of emotions. The Page of Cups here is like, emotions. Um, there's feelings. It's not like, oh yeah, I just like you and I think that you look amazing and that's it. But mm, yeah, I think that he's not letting go of he's not opening up. He's not opening up. He's not opening up. It feels rigid still. Hey, Totalino. Yes. I was presenting the new oracle that I got today. That is the oracle of the archangel Raphael. It's mostly for health, but I don't know. I just wanted to add it. I was like, I don't know. I want to add it to the guys reading. Um, but yeah, and also now that you're here, because I did put Flamingo, I did put them also as moderators, but since you're around, if you see someone spamming, you can block them, please. Because I already introduced the dynamic of today, who I'm reading for today. So it's in the title of the video, it's in the image of the video. So it's for BTS members. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, the good thing is that, with the Page of Cups in the middle, there's someone. There's someone. It's just that maybe is starting over, is starting over. Yes, he dealt a lot in the military. Exactly. This is why when I saw the Emperor, I was like, this is why I felt like a bit rigid. He and I think that this is not over. I think that when I see the Emperor for Namjoon, I think that this is also his poster in other aspects of his life, because yeah, maybe he's out of the military now, but he has a lot of responsibilities for the group, and for the I don't know, maybe he helps with the company, if he helps in some decision making. He is a leader, he is a figure of authority. So I think that when you are, getting to know someone in a romantic way, someone like Namjoon, uh yeah, he's going to be a bit like, yeah, I'm waiting, I like you, but we're just starting. So yeah, please, understand, like, this is going to take a while. But yeah, definitely, it's I think that it must be really, this is why when I got the card of stretching, something about him, like, go and stretch your body, please. Like, you are so tense in the muscles. Like, go, please. Hey, Full. I just finished reading for Namjoon, and now I'm going to move on to Jin. You're early. You're early. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. And I was thinking, I because I got, since I'm reading for BTS, I got a bit like I got a bit emotional or nostalgic for the groups of the first generation and older of other generation. Um, so I was like, it would be nice to do this romance reading for other third generation group. And I thought of GOT7. I thought of GOT7 and Shiny members. So I don't know if you guys, I'm going to create a post to see if you guys would love, or if you would enjoy for me to dedicate a live stream for them, GOT7, and then for Shiny in the same live stream for both groups. Um, because I'm missing them, and also I think that they are so, they are almost everyone in the same age, like, they're in this very nice age to really be reading about relationships. I think that they went through so many transformations, through so many challenges, and they're still here. So I'm like, I want to go back to, I want to read romance for people that are in that. It's not about age, because you can be 40 and never been in a relationship. I know I have friends that, they are my age and they never dated. But, who knows, maybe there's something, there's a possibility. And I think that for guys of their age, it feels very nice, it feels very authentic, it feels like I'm reading for real men. Sometimes when I read for, very young idols, or, these idols that probably they are very focused on making it, they are so worried about their careers, reputation, their own mental health, that sometimes when I pull cards for them, I'm like, it's not that romantic, guys. It's not that, like, oh wow, yeah, they're dating, they are dating the most popular idol that you think. So I'm like, I want to read for real men. Mm. Yeah, we want grown-up relationships. Yeah, but this Sunday is going to be dedicated to cancer idols. So also wait, because we have the cancer idols. But yeah, next Wednesday, I believe I'm going to continue with this format to do Romance 2025 for GOT7 members and Shiny members. Okay, guys, I'm going to continue with Jin. Romance for Jin 2025. Jin, let's see. Jin. Okay, for Jin, we have King of Cups for Jin in love, King of Cups, the Hangman, the Tower in the middle, the Lovers, and the Page of Wands. Then from the Oracle of Archangel Raphael, we have a miracle is announced. A miracle is announced, or a miracle is being announced. So thank God, because I think that Jin needs a lot of healing in this aspect. And from the Oracle of the I Ching of Love, we have the obstacle. So definitely there's a lot of overcoming to do for Jin. He probably broke up with someone not so long ago. I don't know if I said this already. I feel a deja vu. I feel like I said it already. Because definitely he knows about relationships. He has been in relationships. He has been probably in a very long-term relationship because he comes here as the King of Cups. So he's very experienced when it comes to matters of the heart. But there's a lot of chaos around him. We have the Hangman, the Tower in the middle, the Lovers. Something got ruined. And I think that it got ruined because there's something about him maybe stopping putting the effort. Maybe if he had an ex or if he had, someone that he was trying to work things out with this person. With the Handman, there's a feeling of him maybe this year finally, reality hitting him that, things are not going to go back to be okay again. Like I think that the spark is lost. A lot of doubts, a lot of things that honestly I think that for Jin there's something about him, probably not being able to save the relationship or to do what maybe the other person was asking of him. I don't know if the other person was asking for like a big commitment, like let's get married or let's do this together or let's buy a house together. And I think that him next to this handman, it feels like him being like I wish from the bottom of my heart I wish I could give you what you need or what you want of me because I'm a gentleman. I care about you, but he's not in the position to give this person this. He cannot. There's something with the handman that is like um, at this point in my career and what I have to do next. um, Everything is is very chaotic when it comes to romance for him. Um, I don't know if there's something about him and another person that one of the parties doesn't trust the other because with the tower it's like it feels like something broke, but maybe because initially there was suspicions. I don't know if there was suspicions of cheating or if there was a lot of people middling in. I think that his romantic life, it feels very like chaotic, him trying to be really polite about this or him trying to be the better person, I would say. um because he is the King of Cups, so there's something about him taking responsibility and being like, yeah, if you leave me or if we end this, I understand. I would like to, because his life is not, is not in control. He's not in control. With the handman, there's a feeling of like, at this point, maybe he's overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities, or there's something about him not being able to do much for the connection. So maybe this person gave him an ultimatum, or they talked about this, and with the tower, it's like, let's not keep pushing this. We know it's going to end. But yeah, it's very it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And I don't know why I want to say that it's not because of him or the person. I think that it's because there's a lot of people in the middle. There's a lot of people in the middle. Not leaving Jean, you know, um it's like every time he wants to be organized in this aspect, because I think that he had a person, he had someone, he had, he had a system with this person. There was an agreement, there was harmony, this person knew what they were getting themselves into. There's a lot of maturity as well, but it seems like Jin's surrounding is getting chaotic. There's a lot of discussions, or maybe there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of disorder also, a lot of things being mixed up, work, relationships, connections, so it feels like his life is so chaotic. It's so chaotic, and he's in the middle in there, trying to please everyone and trying to be okay with everyone. But the reality is that you cannot be okay with everyone. You're going to disappoint someone at this point. And I think that his relationship suffers the most. um then we have the lovers, and we have the page of wands. So I think that as the awkwardness disappears, with the lovers and the page of wands, there could appear someone new. I see it with the page of wands. This is also, a younger person, younger than him, that is very enthusiastic, that is probably a fire sign like him, um, that she could be, starting to flirt with him, or being obvious with him, or him having, a really playful connection with this person and people finding it cute. Because with the lovers, it's like, well, we are going to play with this, or we are going to use this. So I don't know if this is like another idol, um, and him being like, well, it's okay, it's okay. um but him being single, I think that it's very interesting how we started the reading with a very mature and centered king of cups, and then we end the reading with a page of wands. So it's more like him getting adventurous, or him attracting a partner, a new partner, or maybe someone that he likes that could be a bit much more immature, and that is not for a relationship. It's more like, yeah, we flirted, or we hang out because we both of them are very active, or they love to do physical activities, or they love to go on adventures, or they love to travel, or they love to, there's something about him probably going out more, and you seeing like Jean a bit much more loose when it comes to the public. You actually seeing like Jean, not a BTS member, but more like Jean the man. I don't know, going to places, or going to meet up with friends, and you feeling in the air like he is free. There's something about the King of Cups that is giving husband, is giving this man that he has at home. He has the emotional support, or the emotion his emotional needs are met. He's taken, because emotionally he has a partner. He's someone that even if you see him alone, you're like, I'm sure he has a wife or a partner somewhere. But now, with as the time progresses, and there's this messiness, these very awkward, chaotic times, then at the end, I see this page of wands. So this could be like a temptation for him, a new person that he could feel the attraction, but it's not like a serious relationship. Um, because I think that he still has to process all these. I think that a lot of things in Jean's life feels very disorganized, feels like so chaotic, and he's trying to be civil about this. But yeah, we have, a miracle is announced. So I think that definitely, with this card, yeah, there's a prayer. Um, yeah, that is about getting back, getting back your health. This card is, it has like here like a prayer that you can say, that is like you asking the angel to come and and help you recover your health. And probably there's something there's a lot of exhaustion from this is affecting Jin, it's affecting him physically as well. He probably is a bit tired, he's a bit overwhelmed, um he's a bit like confused sometimes, or he just feels like everything is falling apart. Like there's a lot of just people people don't organize his methods, and it makes it makes him feel much more guilty that there's a lot of messiness. People are not doing their jobs correctly, and it's like, wow, it's always me. Like every time I have to go and do something, something happens. So he's like, but at the same time, I think that he's a guy that he will not say anything. With the handman, he will probably continue with a very hopeful attitude, like, okay, yeah, things are falling apart, my love life is not that good, but well, and he says the obstacle, so a lot of obstacles, a lot of interruptions, so it's tough this year, romantic life for Jean. It's a moment of endings, maybe a moment of um a lot of chaos, a lot of chaos. uh, but he's a very mature person. He probably, him and this person, they already knew. They already probably talked about this, so it's not like it's happening now. And no, probably, it started last year, and it is finalizing now. It's just that it's a mix. I think that it's affecting him because it's a mix of a lot of things that are somehow like falling apart. It feels very abrupt, it feels very aggressive even, and you know but yeah. Yes, definitely. Very much a gentleman. Yeah, because he's not, he's facing it. He's looking at it and being like, well, yeah, things are not okay, but, I tried. I tried. I think that when it comes to relationships, he's not, he's a very responsible person emotionally. Um, he's not going to say the words, or he's not going to present himself as someone romantic if he doesn't feel it. He's very authentic in that sense, very sensitive as well, but he's like, I also have to recognize when things don't work, they don't work. Okay, I'm going to continue with Yoongi. Romance for Yoongi in 2025. Oh, it's all about money. Like, not money. I think that it's all about productivity. I think that he's like, I see a lot of golden, and I'm like, he's enjoying his freedom. He's enjoying his freedom. He's like, but I think that there's someone. Definitely, I do see someone. It's the first person I see here. There's someone, but there's also, this is a very odd. I don't want to call it odd, because who am I to be like, oh, this relationship is odd. Is a relationship. There's a lot of styles of relationship. It's just that I think that it's a relationship that is very Jungi. Is his style of relationship. um is work related relationships. There's a bit of like, yeah, I like you, but sometimes I'm mean to you, or I say very mean things to you because I like you. So so yeah, it feels like definitely, he is a challenge. He is a challenge for. I see a woman here. I see a woman, but he is a challenge. You have to have the patience to get, his humor, or to get, because I don't see sensitivity in here. I don't see feelings like, oh, I'm going to buy you a bouquet of flowers and I'm going to do this for you. And I don't see it. I see a lot of pentacles. So he's like, I can like you very much. I actually admire you because, probably this person is like a business person, very important, very influential, very rich. But he's like, I also value my me time. So it's like, you know, let me be selfish, honestly. Like, he's so focused on himself, on, his alone time, on his achievements, personal and professional. So he's like, at the end, I'm always going to choose me. And I kind of like this because he's actually doing very well. So I'm like, whatever makes you happy. But there's a dynamic with this person, that it feels like the other person also gets it. There's something about them getting the rhythm of this connection and being like, yeah, I know you're like this. So yeah, you will always be like this, or you will always um react like this. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, Nine of Pentacles in the middle, Four of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. And these are the ones that escaped of I'm supposed to pick five only. Well, Seven of Swords, that the Seven of Swords is this, this of me reading for Jungi and always talking about escapism and how I feel his energy escapes from me, and he's always escaping, and in connections, in romance, he's always escaping. Yes, it's like, yeah, I got my eye on you for quite a while. I think that you are impressive, but you will never get me. Like, there's something about him being like, yes, but no. It's like, yes, but no. And we have the card of Transfiguration. That is a really cute card. It's a really cute card because I think that it's about embracing that, this dynamic makes him happy. Because he's not betraying himself. He's being honest to his needs. Maybe he doesn't have that much emotional needs. He just feels happy working. He is a workaholic. He is a workaholic. So, if you expect the romance, the flowers, him being there like a Romeo, being there by your side, and he's not going to do this for you. So, but he is a rock. He can be your rock. If he loves you, he's going to be your rock, your number one fan, your number one supporter. He's probably going to give you money, or he's going to pay things for you, but he's going to do it from a place of like, distance, of like, yeah, I did this, but it's not that big of a deal. So don't make it a big of a deal. Don't mention it. Like, it feels very like, and here it says, make a consultation to a nutritionist. So yeah, definitely it's talking about, maybe Jungi needs to, consume better food, better quality of food, or changing his diet. There's something about him, about the nutritionist, um, because, there's something about him, maybe he lacks certain nutrition that maybe he's not getting, or maybe he's not eating very well. And I think that at the same time, if you think about love, in our relationships and emotions. I think that definitely the part of you going to a nutritionist for me is like also like also like do a consultation about your emotional nutrition. Like we understand working makes you happy. We understand. I see these pentacles here, and I'm like, I know if I would get in a relationship with Jungi, I know I cannot mess with his, I cannot get in the way even of getting in the way of his accomplishments or his need to be productive or his need to be, always working, always focused, always like maybe he's with you but he's thinking about his next project and he's thinking about this and he's like saturated with work, and this is how he functions. So but at the same time I'm like, okay, but what about feelings? Like when it comes to your emotional nutrition, are you well nurtured? Are you well? Are you asking what you need in a connection or to the people that you love? Are you asking them what you need emotionally? Are you communicating your needs? Um, I think that he's very he's very like stubborn in this sense. He's very old fashioned. He's very old fashioned in this sense of like, okay, sometimes I am like this myself, so I kind of understand that. I'm like, okay, if I'm with you, is a representation, is a manifestation that I care about you, that I love you, so stop asking. I'm okay with you. I had chosen you, that's why I'm here, otherwise I would have left already. But sometimes it's like, but what about if you open up a bit more? What about if you say the words? What about if you talk gently to your partner? What about if you're more gentle? What about if you're more romantic? What about if you say the word love? If you tell the other person I love you, or if you accept that they love you, have these very awkward and cheesy moments. I know that they are super cheesy, but sometimes these are nutritive. These are nutrition. This is necessary for the romance, you know. So so maybe there's a part of him that he actually needs to hear this word, or he needs to dare to say the words like I love you, and not being like, oh yeah, me too. So it's like, what is going on with romance? And also nutrition also here, it is about the what he consumes. Probably the guy is working all the time and he doesn't eat properly, or he eats late, or he does a weird combination of food. Probably I think that he skips meals. He skips meal. He sometimes gets so busy that time pass by and he forgets that he needs to go out and eat, or he cannot even enjoy a meal because he's busy. He's like, I have to finish this quick because I have to get back. And it's like, also heal your relationship with food, with nutrition. You are not that well, you are not, you have the means, he has the money, he has everything. There's no need for, oh, you have to go to a nutritionist. I think that he has all the stuff, the team, he has everything. But there's something about him having, maybe he has the food, he has a fridge full of food, he has all the vitamins, he has everything, but he doesn't consume them. He is stuck in his task, in his role, and he's not stopping to be like, oh, this would be a good time for me to stop and actually eat. And also, nutrition, the way we consume, what we consume. If we know that this is not good for our stomach, why are you having it? All of this, it goes back to how much you love yourself. So, it's not so much like, oh, you have to eat more. It's more like, are you, you know, are you full? Are you fulfilled? Are you listening to your body? Because I understand he's super busy. I understand, and it's his job, and a lot of people depend on Yoongi and maybe on BTS. There's a lot of people, depending of these guys' productivities as well. But he's like, don't forget, go to a nutritionist. Don't forget about you. Don't forget about your body, and please eat. So, but yeah, it's so fun. It's so funny because I see that he argues a lot with this woman. I think that she's just there minding her own business, being a queen herself, and he's like, "Oh, I have this to tell you," and he probably criticizes her or says something that is like, "Wow, yeah, you really like me, right?" He and I think that there's something about him setting boundaries also. Like, don't you get in my business. Don't you dare to get in his business. He's like creating something important. So don't you dare to get in his business. Don't interrupt him while he's working. Don't try to distract him from this that he's doing. He's a very individualistic person as well. He's like, I have to work because if I don't move, things don't get done. I am the one that makes things happen. So probably, also in relationships, he's someone that values his own autonomy, his own ability to be like, I am free. And if I don't want to go and see you, and if I don't have the time to go and see you because I'm busy working, you know, it is what it is. I am like this. I value my alone time. He actually has like a very well balanced self-esteem, I would say. He's very content with himself, with his achievements. He's someone that he's like, yeah, I know I'm a catch. I know I'm amazing. But he's also someone that is very jealous of his productivity or of the things that he creates, his name, his image. He's like, a relationship is not going to enter into a woman is not going to enter in my life and sort of like make a mess here of my stability and my routine. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for him. But I think that is very interesting, that even though he's so focused on working and on getting things done, and like he's the typical guy that he's like, I need my me time, so don't bother me. Like, don't come to my house if I didn't invite you. If you didn't set a date to see each other, it's like, don't you ever think about like spontaneously showing up because I'm not seeing you. But it's so interesting how he's always like looking at what she's doing. I think that she's a very busy person herself, but he's like always like, I think that through messages, he's always like combating her. He's always like, oh, I saw what you did in there. Oh, is that all you had? Can you be more professional? Like, I think that you know, and this is his love language. He basically will like be a bit passive aggressive with you. Very, but also very, very like straightforward with messages, like very straightforward. I think that getting a message or a text or an email from Jungi is a whole lot of achievements. So there's something about him being like, maybe I will show you a link of this and I will share a very stupid TikTok, but this is my love language. I'm reaching out. Like I'm like showing interest. This is him being flirtatious. But probably he's so like he's so on the defensive about he doesn't want to show vulnerability. This is what I'm trying to say. He's like, what are you doing? And maybe the woman is like, because I think that she's doing very well for herself. So there's something about him being like, oh, you are, you got this thing, and you had a great resolution, or you got this job, you got this opportunity. Oh, but me too. Me too. I'm also doing amazing. I'm also I also have my coins. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. My life is great. So there's a bit of competitiveness, a bit of competition, a bit of bickering. This is why I get like bickering. Like you're like, wow, if you weren't just like this, I would think that you actually don't like me. But she's just so immersed also in her own business that she's like, yeah, whatever. So it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. But yeah, there's something, that I think that they get each other. They probably have this dynamic. Also has history. This dynamic is not like, but I think that he can do this because this woman is very well established and is probably older than him. Is older than him. So there's something about him bickering, him trying to be annoying on purpose to her, Um, and it's like, oh, yeah, you think that you're doing great? Oh, well, me too, me too, me too. I'm also doing amazing, because I'm working nonstop. I'm always working. And she's like so chill. She doesn't get offended, nor she's like, okay, yeah, this is who he is. And there's a bit of stability in this. There's a lot of pentacles, so this dynamic it has a purpose. It's going somewhere. It's very slow. I think that for Jungi to actually um you know um admit that there's someone special in his life is going to take a while because he doesn't even want to pronounce the word relationship or love. This is why I'm like, how are we talk emotions? But he's like, no, no, I want to present myself like this very, I want people to focus on my ability, on my achievements, on my talents. Like I'm here to shine because of me, not because of, people don't have to know who I'm dating or who I like. That's not, it's not going to make me more famous. It's not relevant. Like you shouldn't care. But he has a cute dynamic with someone that it also feels like he feels like he's in a committed relationship, even though he's alone. But there's something about him holding a space for that person. There's a continuation, a lot of years probably of doing this. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're together. Like I said, it's a very odd, like dynamic, but it works. It works. But at the end, we have the Seven of Swords. So there's something about him being like, if you guys ever find a clue about who this person is, I'm not telling. I'm escaping all rumors, allegations. You will not get it from me. You will not get it from me. I will escape. I will evade. I will. No, no. An announcement of me being with someone, no, you will not get it from me. You will probably also, like, if there's paparazzis, I don't know if it exists, paparazzis in Korea, but if there's people taking pictures, usually you will get Yoongi alone. All him, him, you will get pictures of Yoongi himself. Like there's something about him being very individualistic in 2025. So yeah, but she came up, so she's a special. But yeah, also with this transfiguration, it's like a new way, a different way of having a relationship, having a connection. Um so so it works in his own, in their own language. I would say they have a language, they have a system, they get each other. So it makes them happy. Oh, they have Sasang, yeah. But he's like he's like so he's like, I'm solo. I'm going solo. I'm no, you will not catch me in those moments with anyone. Like no, I don't do those things. I don't do couple things. He's so individualistic. He's so into, I'm the famous one here. I'm the one that matters. You should guys focus on me, not in my romantic life. Like, what is that? You should focus on my music. I'm working for you guys. I'm working a lot of hours to create. So pay attention to me. Look at me. Look at me. Hey, Larry. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. I love it because I think that, I feel honored, honestly. I know that this is just a tarot reading, but for me to be able to see someone in Jungi's reading, I'm like, oh, I'm advancing. I got a bit of info. Uh, so I hope I'm making him proud, not evading his privacy. I know with the Nine of Pentacles in the middle, he's like, focus on me. Talk about my accomplishments. Don't talk about love. What is this? I just finished Jungi. Now moving on to hobby. I done yes, hobby does. Let's see hobby. Let's see hobby. Hobby. Let's see relationships. 2025. Ah, my, these guys with the Seven of Swords. Like, I mean, it makes sense because their life are so, they are watched. I'm sure they are, observed from every angle. So, it feels like it sort of makes sense that they are trying to evade any kind of scandal and just, but I'm like, come on, guys, like, don't evade love, don't evade it. Does my name show up yet? Because I'm engaged with the seven of them. No, I haven't revealed your identity. Um, Jungi did show you a bit, but he just said she's a businesswoman. That's it. She's a nurse sign. That's what he said. Okay. Okay. Um, for hobby, we have Two of Wands, Justice, Two of Swords in the middle, Seven of Swords, and Six of Wands. And we have the card of the courage of love. The courage of love. And we have sobriety. I don't know if that's a word in English. Um, sobriety. Wait, I'm going to check. Yeah, sobriety. Mm. Yeah, sobriety. Exactly same. Yeah, I think that honestly, I don't see someone for hobby. I don't see any specific. I don't get like, oh yeah, there's someone. I don't see it. But I do think that he is getting closer to finally be a bit much more maybe connected with, okay, I want to be in a relationship, but I also want to be a good partner. Um, there's there's something about him also working a lot on himself as a person, as a man. I think that's for the first time. I don't know how old Hobby is, but there's something about him for the first time connecting with you know, his energy, his essence. Um, there's something about him also connecting with like, okay, this is the man that I want to be, or this is the man that I want to be when I'm in a relationship. Honestly, I think that he's a bit confused. There's something about his relationships, or maybe his desire to be in a relationship, um, had always been clouded by the men in his life, and with this, when I say the men in his life, it's not BTS members. It's like the older men in his life. I don't know if there's something about the men in his life being a bit passive when it comes to love, or not being really good husbands, not being that attentive, not being that, um, that, like, that good lover, and I think that hobby he wants to be romantic. There's something about him being like, I want, I don't know if he watches movies, or there's a character that he likes, or there's a person that he likes, maybe of a movie or a book, that he's like, I want to be like Romeo, for example, like, but he has a very beautiful view of, the kind of relationship that he wants, and he's working also a lot on him feeling deserving of love, and having this love that can be very intimate. He really is, he really wants like a real connection. And I think that for a very long time, maybe he had the possibility to meet someone. There was something about, these people. It's like, you don't want to date me, you want to date J-Hope. You don't want to date Hoseok, the man. You want to date the K-pop person, the K-pop idol, the BTS member. So, I think that also hurt a bit his self-esteem, feeling like, okay, you are not choosing me because of my abilities, or what I can give you emotionally, or how I can be good at relationships, and how I can treat you right, and how I can be romantic. You are more interested in like, okay, like, how does it benefit you to be associated with me? And I think that this is not just relationships, romance. This is people in his life in general. A lot of people are around Hobby because of who he is, because of, what he is. He is a BTS member. So a lot of people are like, you know, like, oh yeah, we are friends. Yeah, we are friends. Can you get me this person's autograph? Oh, can I do this? Or can I, so, and he had always been very, very polite, very generous, because he was raised to be, very polite, very generous. But there's something about him doubting his own ability to have a long-term relationship. He's like, you know what, if I continue like this, who am I going to attract? Gold diggers. Like, no one wants me, for who I am. No one is that interested. And I think that he's a man that he's probably very sensitive, he's very intelligent, he's very observant, and he's like, I know you don't care about me. I know you don't care about me. Or you don't like me that much. It's just that you're pretending, So there's something about him being like, this year, being like, I'm going to look, if someone that I find interesting appears, but I'm putting them to the test. I'm putting them to the test because now I decide, I command about like, okay, what kind of love do I want to live? And who do I let in my circle, my intimate circle, my friends, my bandmates, my house. He's very protective of himself. He's like, I value myself a lot now. So allow me to not get that excited because you talk to me. It's like you can be beautiful, you can be, funny, and we can laugh together and we can interact. But relationship, I'm still in the search for the one. He's looking for a wife. I see that for him this is serious, but he's like, he's also been like, I also have my own insecurities. I also have that side of him that he sabotages connection, or maybe he gets a bit aloof. This is why we have the Seven of Swords, that is like, yeah, yeah, we will see each other next time, and then I disappear and I don't answer your calls. So he's also owning up to this, to like, okay, yeah, maybe, I didn't put that much effort because I don't trust people nowadays. And the more years pass, is worse because maybe he had seen it. He had seen these people approaching him, approaching some members, he's like, I feel like this is a trap. They want to set us up. They want us to fall into a trap. They want to see us with the wrong crowd. They want to see us in the wrong crowd. They want to, criticize our friends and be like, oh, what are you doing with this person? Oh my God, like, and he's like, but we are human as well. We crave connection just like everyone, but probably there's something about the environment that he's in is not that sincere. So it's really hard for him also to hide who he is because he is hobby of BTS. So it's like he's also, this is why he's connecting with his self-esteem, and he's been like, okay, I cannot pretend to be someone else or be humble, but with a kind of sobriety is, maybe, it's like I will be a bit more sober, a bit more modest. I will not pay for all our dates, or I will not give you expensive gifts. Like, let's start simple. He probably is like, maybe I'm spending too much money. I will stop for a while and I will live a more modest life, because he feels like the more he has, the more he attracts. I want to say gold diggers. Like, I know I said it at some point in the video, but I think that he attracts that people. There's something about those people running around him and being like, "Oh, I want to be your friend, or I want to get to know you because you're so funny." Yes. And he's like, I can smell your fakeness. I know that you don't really want me. You just want me because of my status. Maybe also people asking him for money or asking him to buy them things. It feels so. But there's something about him being like, I also don't have role models. So he's like reinventing a version of himself in relationships and love that he's like, this is new for me. I'm I'm thinking about, my heroes or my favorite character, and what I've seen in the movies, and I'm sort of trying to recreate this modern, um, Romeo, but he's so romantic. He really wants a true love, and this is why we have all these tools. The two of wands, the justice. Having his planning. He's like, I want a relationship that is also about balance. That is a very responsible relationship where the both of us we give our best. We combine our efforts. We make the relationship work. I don't want to feel alone while being in a relationship with you. Neither I want you to feel alone if you are with me. Or if it's a person that is like, oh, I don't date famous people. I could never. He's like, okay, well, if you cannot, this is my life. I'm sorry if it's too much for you. But he's sort of discarding, and be like, yeah, that one no, the other one also no. Then we have the two of swords in the middle, that is about this indecision of like, okay, yeah, I have a lot of options. I meet people, I seen beautiful people, I meet people that I find very attractive, that I would want to get to know, but at the same time I'm feeling kind of weird, like I don't know who to choose. He still hasn't found the person for me. He's like looking, he's like, you know observing, but he's a bit confused. Maybe there's a lot of people around him, and he's like, the more attention you give to me, the more confused I am. Like he needs. I think that there's something about Kobe being like, I need space. Can you be people back off a bit? I need space. I think that if some of you want to attract someone like Kobe, don't get in his personal space because there's something about him being like, I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe if you are all, you know, in my face like this. Like everywhere I turn, there's someone that I have to say hi to. There's the other person coming this way, and I'm like, whoa, and he's like, I'm trying to be nice and polite, but sometimes it gets a bit much. I need intimacy. Um, but yeah, then also the seven of swords and the six of wands, I think that honestly is for the best that maybe the rest of 2025 he's going to evade, being associated with someone or being in rumors with someone, because honestly, like with the six of wands at the end, this is maybe a time where he has to focus more on his personal victories, and he's going to be very victorious, or he's going to be very recognized, this year. So I can sort of see that he's sort of sacrificing this part, or he's evading certain connections or certain interactions, or maybe, his family being like, we want to set you up, would like take you on a blind date with this person because we think that this person is for you, or you would share, you should meet this person. But he's like, yeah, but I'm busy, I don't have time. And I'm not sure. He wants a connection that also can feel authentic, not forced. So I think that it's okay for him to evade a bit. You know, these are very confusing times for for a hobby, and I think that he wants to be in a relationship. He wants to fall in love, but at the same time, he's like, I'm also like, doing very well on my own. I'm a very busy person. So, I also have to ground myself and take, as much as I can. And he's going to be very busy. So I don't see him having time for romance. Um, but yeah, the courage of love. See, he's becoming much more authentic and courageous about what he wants or what he doesn't want of a connection. So also with sobriety, also like, him staying very grounded, standing, very, very centered, not feel, you know, seduced or, um, you know, um, even tempted, by other people or friends or acquaintances, like, let's go here, let's go to this event, and let's go out here, and let's go to this restaurant, and let's go buy this. And he's like, no, I better just, chill a bit with the consumption, with buying things, going places. It's like maybe he's saving money, but it feels like, I better stay a bit, in sobriety. People, don't forget to give a like to the video, please. Thank you. If you see me that I'm already here, it's because I have the heater on this side and it's sort of hitting in my face, so I'm all red. Oh man. It's just that it's very cold. It's very cold. It's very cold in here. Yes. Hope he finds a good partner. Yeah, I like it. But I think that these are very interesting times because he's like, he's starting to see what he doesn't like. He's like, yeah, this kind of person, no, I don't like him. Maybe in the past he was very unsure about. He was like, no, yeah, I like good personality, the typical answer. But now he's much more picky and selective, and also about his lifestyle the same. Not consuming everything just because it's available. How many degrees? 8. 8 degrees Fahrenheit. No, not Fahrenheit, Celsius. Sorry, I always confuse Fahrenheit with Celsius, 8 degrees. Oh, 33. Okay. Guys, pray for me that I'm about to read for the Magna line. So the shippers are going to come. Pray for me. Okay. I'm going to continue with Taehyung, with B. Let's see, 2025 for B. Thank you. Light the candles, guys. The incense stick and the candles. Light my way, please. Does anyone know if Taeyeon got a new dog? Because I think that he needs a new pet if he doesn't have it already. Why do I feel like someone is going to give him, if we're going to give him as a gift, as a present, a dog? He needs it. He needs a pet. He needs a pet. Because he says unconditional joy. He needs the unconditional love of an animal, of a pet. He needs that. Because relationships are complex for For B, we start with the Tower. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Empress. And we have the Nine of Swords. And we have the card from the Oracle of the I Ching. This says the initial difficulty. The initial difficulty. And unconditional joy. First of all, he had an argument not so long ago, well, maybe a couple of weeks ago, where he ended things with someone. With someone that he maybe an ex, maybe someone that he would be like in contact, like through messages, like non-stop. Even if he was in the military, there was a lot of talking, a lot of communication, a lot of like, I cannot stop talking to you, even though I know it's not okay. But we are always communicating, and there's a bit of passive aggressiveness. There's a lot of resentment. There's something about like, oh, something broke in a past connection of his. Maybe this person, also the Page of Swords, this could represent the person that somehow, gave him the message like, okay, we are done, like for real, like we are done for real. This is not a threat. This is like finally, like, it's over. Like let's end this. Um, but also the Page of Swords, I think that they are very childish in that sense. There's something um, with the Page of Swords that I think that it could be the other person, the receiver of the messages, but also him being a Page of Swords, like him being, you know, um, a bit like provocative also in the messages, or if he sends a message. I think that is a very childish dynamic, but it's like they communicated like this for a very long time. Maybe this also kept him sort of distracted of, maybe him being in the military, because at least he could text, or he could, have, like, it seemed like through connection or messages, they it felt like they were still together, but the dynamic was not. Like the subject of conversation was always like, let's end this. We are not supposed to be talking to each other. We are not good for each other. We are not meant together. So it felt like, like a very, it feels like those kind of relationships that you have with your ex, or when you have that ex that is like, oh, we cannot be together, but we are still in contact. Very toxic, very childish, because I do have the Page of Swords, so a lot of childish behavior from his part and the other person as well. So I'm sure that I don't know if this is something that people of his age, if they do a lot, with their significant others or with their exes. But it seems like it's something that is a dynamic that is normal. It's like, probably I'm not interested in seeing you, or getting back together, but still we are still in communication. um or I send you messages like through pictures or something like this. I think that if there's someone that is interested in B. This is not an ex. This is someone new. This is someone older than him. It's like, it looks like, I don't know if she's older, but she seems more experienced, or she seems like a water sign. She has like water elements, or she's like very different to his uh, type, or to his ex. So there's something about this person being very emotional, being like a mother type, being a great listener, just being like, I have all the patience in the world. So, we can talk, we can hang out, I'm not pressuring you. let's just be friends, but I get you, I understand you, tell me more, like being very, very different from, the people that he usually, hangs out with. Or there's something about the dynamic with this woman just being very different. And I think that she's the one in control, because since she's older, or she's much more experienced somehow, is like, she's probably the one that invites him, or the one that is like, oh, let's be friends, but that there's interest from the other side, or this person kind of likes him, or she wants to be more than friends, but there's something about her just acting like, maybe like, oh, no, I'm a friend that, I'm just worried for you, I'm concerned for you. So she's very present here, very present. She's like, um, I give you all my love, my attention, like, talk to me, I will listen to you. What do you need of me? I will help you, like, very generous as well. And he likes her. I think that he likes her too, because it's a different experience, where with this Queen of Cups is like everything is a possibility. So he feels, and he feels appreciated. He feels like really appreciated. Like, she's really kind, very sweet, like a caretaker. He's like, wow, this person, like, my connection with this person is so different, because I feel like she really cares about me. Like, she really looks after me, or like, she really takes care of me. She listens. She doesn't judge me. She's so gentle. Um, and I think that for him, that's very attractive. And we have the Empress, and we have the Nine of Swords. So she's beautiful as well. With the Empress, probably she's also rich, or you know, there's a lot of abundance. They are beautiful. Both of them are beautiful. She's beautiful. He's beautiful. She's kind. But I think that honestly, with the Nine of Swords and the Empress, for I think that he can only just have a friendship with this woman. Maybe it's something platonic, like, oh, you make me feel really good, like, I love you. But I don't think that it's like, oh, this is his girlfriend. No, I think that is someone that he's like, I could be around your presence 24/7, because you are so nice to me, or we connect and you are so special. But honestly, I think that when it comes to relationships with the Empress and the Nine of Swords, I think that Tay is going to spoil all his options for love in this year, this 2025. Um, because there's something about abundance in love, or beauty, or having a certain status, or a certain harmony, and having a good time with someone, and he still feels unsatisfied. He has a lot of, I don't think that are insecurities, but I think that he's a guy that there's moments where he sabotages connections, because I think that he doesn't feel worthy of connections. I think that also he's very used to chaos in his life. This is why I'm like, he could attract at some point, still have the same dynamic of having a very childish partner, and I don't want to say like the other part is childish, but having this very childish connection, where you are arguing for stupid things, and I think that for him, this person, this very loving female figure, like very motherly, just beautiful, just very, giving him the best advice, listening to him and everything, and having this great dynamic, and him being okay, him being prosperous, abundant in his own lifestyle, but he still feels unworthy. It's like when he's at peace with in a connection, or when he's like calm, when there's tranquility in a connection, he doubts, he panics even. So he sabotages the connection. He starts ignoring the person, or he starts acting weird. And you're like, but do you want to be with me or not? I think that he is still, I don't know if this is because of the military, maybe it was traumatic at certain point, and there's still, you know, certain experiences that he had in there, or maybe it's his own experience with fame, with exposure, with him being angry at certain situations that he feels that he doesn't have control of his life. It seems like he's angry. He's angry, he feels suffocated emotionally. He's like, he has the potential to build a connection. And I think that he wants um, a connection. He has the potential to attract and date the most beautiful women in the world, because all beautiful women love him. So it is not like he has to do the extra effort, like, how do I attract a partner? No, he has, because he's Venusian himself. But there's something very chaotic about the way he acts in these connections. He can get a bit erratic, he can get a bit paranoid, like starting doubting the person, or just like, also sending very weird messages. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, as if he was in high school still. So, he still needs a lot to work on. I think that, yeah, people there is, but he is still a bit immature for me. Like, I think that he has certain, I think that he's angry at people, and he feels very misunderstood. He feels very, this is one of the things that I think that he argues with people, or he ends connection the most, because he's like, you don't understand me. But at the same time, he doesn't work on his ability to express himself better. It's like you expect your partner to understand you, but are you expressing your needs clearly? Are you like doing the effort, or talking about how you feel, what is your perception of this that is going on? Are you slowing down and saying, and thinking and evaluating, okay, why they gave me this response? I think that in his case it's like, oh yeah, you said that to me because I'm sure you don't like me, you don't really like me. And he thinks the worst instantly. It's like, instead of being like, no, maybe, they just, they weren't bringing this out because it seems like but he gets angry right away. And then he tortures himself, because he's like, why do I trust people that they always betray me and they don't want me to be happy? There's something about him feeling like people are against his happiness, that people don't want him to be happy. And sometimes maybe he is the one that gets in the way of his own happiness. So he can change partners, he can meet someone new, he can be surrounded by a lot of beautiful people, but if he doesn't change his traumas, his uh, fear of abandonment, or his fear of rejection, um, there's something about, you see this when you see Taehyung, you see the Empress. You see, oh, he's beautiful, he's rich, he's successful, he's this, but inside he's this. So it's like, I think that instead of getting into a connection, he needs to work on himself first. um yeah, in the oracle of the I Ching, the card, it says the initial difficulty. So see, this is him. He's in a connection, a friendship, whatever. A difficulty appears, an initial difficulty, a disagreement. He threatens to end the connection. He's like, oh no, you don't like me, you hate me, you this, I'm cutting you out. Bye. He gets like he's like, but relationships go through challenges and there's difficulties. Maybe he is the one that also initiates the difficulties. But he's like, oh no, 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 I don't have time for drama. I'm ending this. I'm sorry. I don't want to argue. I don't want drama. I see that we are not meant for each other because, there's a lot of difficulty in here and I cannot deal with this. And it's like, but it's a tiny disagreement. Like you can work things out. I think that that not this year, but in the near future, Taehyung B, he needs to learn to regulate this anxiety of his, and of threatening to end things, just because of a small disagreement. Because relationships are work. It takes work. It takes commitment from the both parties. You have to put a lot of effort. You have to get to agreements. You have to compromise in a lot. You do have to show up for the relationship, and him is like abandoning in the first in the first disagreement, or in the first, problems. He's like, no, 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 this is not for me. I thought that we were compatible, but seeing how this is playing, like, no, I cannot do this. No, 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 no. Difficulties, no. Bye. I'm ending this. Let's be friends. So, so he leaves the other person, feeling like, but we are supposed to work this. You are the other part of this relationship. Where are you going? Why are you living in the middle of this that we have to repair, that we can repair, or that we can work on, that is not that serious? But he escapes from difficulties. um and this is why I'm like, with this cat of the dogs, that says unconditional joy. For me, I think that he needs, to maybe spend more time with animals. With if he has the possibility to get a new pet, I think that it will be very healing for him, because animals don't judge. I do know about this. I own two beautiful cats. um, I'm a cat lover myself, and I think that sometimes when you are in the process of getting to know yourself, but you don't want to be lonely, or you have love to give, but you're like, but I don't know if a relationship is like, instead of going, and trying to find unconditional love in places where there's no unconditional, maybe, you get a pet, do the exercise to give this pet, this animal, a loving home, to give them your love, and they will love you. They will reciprocate you, with this unconditional love, with this unconditional presence. And you will nurture yourself from this, because I think that definitely Tay is someone that he needs love, a lot of love, because he's broken inside. There's like a very scared child inside of him. He has wounds from the past. But, he's also a tough person. You cannot, I don't see cars that are like, well, he's going to start therapy, or maybe he's starting to realize that this that he's doing, is not okay. No, he's very stubborn. It's not that he's going to, you know, be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I guess I guess I have to change. No, he probably thinks like, no, I dodged a bullet because that person was problematic. They were stressing me out, so I cut them. Uh, but he's going to end up alone if that's if he keeps cutting people out. Yes, I think that he should get a pet. Maybe it's going to happen very soon. Maybe he's thinking about it because I think that he needs the definitely. Okay, I'm going to continue with Jimin. Let's go, Jimin. Let's see his romance in 2025. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. Good night. Yeah. Okay, for Jimin, we have Eight of Cups, Four of Cups, the Justice in the middle, King of Wands, Four of Swords. We have the card of sex, literal sex. And from the Oracle of Archangel Raphael, we have the card of listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. No, I think that I don't know if also Jimin if he went through a breakup a long time ago, but he probably is a long time ago, but it took him a while, maybe while him being in the military, being able to move on emotionally from this person with the Eight of Cups and the Four of Cups. He's still in this process of him, accepting and advancing. But I think that there's a bit of apathy literally in him. He's like, I'm a bit emotionally, I'm empty. My cups are empty. I have a lot of propositions. I have a lot of beautiful people that are interested in me. I have a lot of people asking me for my number. Like, I'm very popular. It's not that I don't have options. It's just that I'm not connected with my emotional needs. He's a bit um he's a bit like, no, relationships, emotions, no, he's also drained emotionally. He's not that like connected. No, no. And in the middle we have the justice. So him being a Libra, also him trying to find balance in his own life. I think that probably Jimin is someone that when he is in a connection, he gives his all. He's someone that his whole body and soul goes after that person, and it's like, I'm yours, take me. Take me. He's that intense. He probably meshes very deeply with the other person, and he cannot escape and he cannot function without that person. So I think that for him, to be able to move on, it took him a lot of years probably, or a lot of time. Probably he needed also some guidance. Like I think that probably he got some advice from people about how to be able to cut the connection and not coming back, not go back to where there's nothing left. But I think that this whole process left him a bit empty because, when we think about Jimmy being a Libra, literally, Libra is ruled by Venus. So these are people that they depend a lot on the partner, or it's like their identity goes with their association. So maybe for him to cut with this person, it left like a void inside of him, a very deep wound also, and him feeling okay, being able to actually, being like, okay, I accept that, this is a new me. I don't no longer regret it. I feel okay. I feel stable emotionally, but I feel a bit like disconnected. Like I don't feel the need to go and chase love again. I don't feel like super romantic. I actually am not interested. I'm a bit like, like relationships, no, no. No, and with justice, he's like, I prefer to maybe save my energy and focus, a thing at a time, a task, a responsibility at a time, not to give my whole attention to this person, because when he's in love, he really puts everything of him in that person. So he's like, I better stay balanced, I better stay in my center, I appreciate, I think that a lot of people want to get Jimin out. They they want to introduce Jimin to people, or they want Jimmy to go on blind dates, they want to get Jimin's energy active, they want him to see people, they want Jimin to be more social. Or go out more, like let's go, you're here, like it's not that he's alone, but there's something about him losing the spark, it's and you're so romantic, so to see you that you are not exploring your ability to be romantic or to be seductive, it feels like even in his maybe in his artistic expression, there's something lacking. If Jimin is not feeling the love, or if he's not in love, it's like when he talks about love in his songs, it feels like a bit like, yeah, it's nice, but Jimin used to have that deeper energy when he used to sing and dance about love, relationships, attraction. There's something about his energy being really up. Like you really see Jimmy move and you're like, yeah, he has experience, he knows what he's talking about or what he's singing about. But there's something about him feeling a bit like, since maybe he ended this connection, he felt a bit like, like even artistically, there was an absence. There was like, yeah, this is perfect because he's a perfect performer, but where is the emotion? Like, I don't know, maybe his songs talked about breakup and I don't know, but it felt very, very depressing. Like, where is Jimin? Where is Jimin? Why is Jimin not seducing us? Like, we want sexy Jimin back. But it's going to take a while, guys, to get Jimin, the sexy Jimin back. It's going to take a while. He needs time, in relationships, just being fair. I think that he also wants to maybe go back and focus on himself as an artist. And he's like, I have to be fair. I have to be responsible. I have to, maybe he has to show up to people. There's a lot of people waiting for him. But, we have the King of Wands and we have the Four of Swords. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, who is this person? There's a man. There's a man that is always with him. I don't mean that he's the romantic partner, but this is like, it could be like a bodyguard, like and someone that is always with him, always, always. And this person is like, you, like, yeah, you take your time. The Four of Swords for me is Hayatu's card, but in the case of Jimin, I don't think that is Hayatu's. I think that this person is like sort of advising Jimin to, don't let anything disturb your peace. If you don't want to, go back to dating, if you don't want to, people to, I think that there's a lot of people that want Jimin to start dating again, or there's someone that is like, let's go here, let's do, I want you to meet this person. And there's this older guy, there's someone there's someone that is advising him to, like, if you don't feel your best, if you are not ready, it's okay to choose, don't go. Don't let them pressure you. Don't let them pressure you. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that you are not ready to do. So if you want to rest more or if you want to take your time, it's okay. Maybe also this about relationships, because I think that this is like, could be like a manager, like someone that is in charge of Jimin. It's like where Jimmy goes, this person goes. Feels like a bodyguard. Because it's very authoritarian. It's someone that is like in charge of Jimin's security. In this case, we're talking about relationships. It could be about his, I don't know, mental health, being like advising Jimin. Maybe it could be a therapist, you know, a male therapist, someone being like, don't let others disturb your peace. You will go out when you're ready or when you meet the one. I don't see someone in here. I don't see someone. Also, we have the card of sex. So, the cards probably are like, you could, him connecting with his sexuality is a way of, also him connecting with his desires, and probably is part of the process of healing as well, him connecting with his sexuality, but not necessarily being in a relationship with someone or starting a love story. It's like, okay, if you have sexual needs, you can meet people, or you can see a way to fulfill your desires. Actually, it's very healthy for Jimin. I think that the cards are like, this is a part that you shouldn't repress about yourself. If you have a healthy sex life, it also attributes to him feeling better. uh, but yeah, um I don't see someone in a specific. And also the kind of listen to your intuition. There's something about Jimin. He probably has to, take his time to not let himself get carried away by others or other people's energy. I think that it's not the time this year to, go back to date. But he has been, improving a lot, because, he definitely moved on. Whatever he had in the past that was very, that usually when I read for Jimin, I get the Eight of Swords. I always get the Eight of Swords for him. And I'm like, this guy is like in a forever trap mentally that he cannot let go of. He cannot get out of this. This is his perception. But in here, finally, we have the Eight of Cups. So there's something about him in romance this year, finally being like, I'm over this part of my life, this person. Now if I think about them, I don't feel bad. I don't. Um, it feels like he has recovered himself. But I think that this is still very early to be like, okay, now that you moved on, we're going to introduce you to someone new. No, give Jimin, just because of the way Jimin loves and the way he gets into relationships, or the way he shows interest in someone, is much more advisable to let him, focus on keep working and improving himself, his mental health probably, and not so much like, oh, let's get you a partner. That I think that someone like Jimin doesn't have, problems with that. It's just that I think that with also, with the justice in the middle, he probably has another aspects of his life that he has to pay attention to, and not so much on romance, because that in romance is where we lose Jimin. It's like probably, he gets affected a lot by his connections or by love. So, it's like, now that we have him free and single, let's make the most of this. Like, let's get Jimin, Jimin to get more albums, to get more solo work, to get more job, to get Jimin the actor. I don't know, but I think that we have to appreciate that he's feeling free of guilt and he's not attached to an ex or someone. He's not toxic. For first time in his life, he's not near toxicity. He's very well taken care of also as well. He's been guided very well in this aspect. So yeah, I like it. I like it for Jimin. Let's go with the last one, with the magnet. Jungkook. Light the candles, guys. Pray for me. Jungkook. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Um, when I see these cards, honestly, like I don't want to call out people. Like I know there's a lot of people that uh, love JK and they want him to be happy. But I have to call out the people that they think that they are fans and that they ruin JK's possibility to be happy and be a normal man of his age. Because when I see this, I'm like, you guys ruin it. You ruin it for him. If he had a special connection with someone, it's done. Like it's I definitely see that there's something about it's not about that Jungkook it's not about him having possibilities or not. I think that there's a lot of intrusion in JK's energy. He's someone that is it's not just about him being popular and attractive and him being who he is. I think that he really is a guy that he would do really well in relationships. He doesn't ask for much in relationships. Actually, he wants a partner. He's a very loving person. He's very romantic. He's not that picky. He's not like, oh, the person that I like or the woman that I like or the woman that is my type is like she has to be like this height. She has to be like, no. He's so simple in connections. Like I think that he would fall in love with a random person because I think that he falls in love with energies or with how that person makes him feel in that moment instead of like, oh my god, bring me your resume, like tell me, where do you work, what do you do for a living, how much do you earn. I think that he's a very simple guy and he falls in love definitely very fast, but I see failure here and I see confusion and I see judgment. So his whole romantic life is like full of dynamite. I would say it's like a dynamite, like a field. Like he cannot do a step towards love and happiness that you guys will blow it. Um, and he will have to fight that. Also, there's something about him getting very, cornered and frustrated and a bit like like he gets affected by the criticism or the invasion. So this also puts him in a very moody kind of behavior and attitude, or because he feels like he has to defend himself all the time. So it gets him into this very unpleasant attitude. Like who is going to attract love like this? Who is going to invite someone into their lives if he feels cornered and surrounded all the time by strangers and people telling him how he should live his life you know um so it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look like, oh yeah, he's going to find love, not this year now. And and it's so sad because he deserves this. I think that out of all the members, I would say he's the one that he would have a very healthy, balanced, nice and cute relationship. This is why I'm like, he's a really romantic person. I could see him, having his whole family and everything. It's just that people don't want this for him, so they make his life so gray, so like so dark. It's like he cannot even get out and enjoy the sun because he has to be locked inside. You know. Did I say the cards? Sorry that I ran, but this is like the overall feeling. I'm like, I have to say it. We start with the Fool. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Judgment in the middle. We have the Moon. We have the Knight of Swords. Um, we have from the card, it says the Crucible. And well, then from the Oracle of the Archangel Raphael, we have the card of recuperation, readaptation. So yeah, maybe this year, is a year for him to actually, you know, heal a bit from the accusations, the invasion, like everything is too much. Mentally, he's like fed up. He's fed up. I said this already when I read for him and the rest of the guys, but uh, and I think that the card of the Crucible is so. See this bird, for me, I don't know if you can see it. For me, this bird in the cage is JK, and this, it could be a potential someone, a potential someone that could, reciprocate his feelings. I mean, like, I like you, or there's something going on between us, and I like you, and I want to get to know you, and he's inside this. He's inside the cage. It's like, I also want to reciprocate, but I'm not free. This is my life. This is my circumstances. So, it's not that the guy is like, no, I actually don't do well in relationships. I don't like dating, or I'm not interested in romance. He's very romantic. He's someone that he thinks about. He's like, I want a partner. I really want. Um, but I think that the times he had the possibility, they were ruined for him. They were ruined. They were ruined. It's like it started, but it's like the initial stages of something, with the Fool and the Ace of Swords. The initial, the first steps of getting to know someone, bam, the internet, people talking, people sharing pictures, videos, people saying what they believe that he should do with his life. Like, oh no, like why? Like, oh my, like why? People just spreading misinformation, and and it's like, he he just started. It's not like it's a 6 year relationship that he kept hidden for you from you guys. It's just getting to know someone. But there he goes, the judgment in the middle. The judgment. Like, no, no, but an idol shouldn't, no, no. And there could be more rumors coming about him getting to know someone. But probably if you get like images of JK with with a girl, for example, with a woman, it's like the cards are like it's the first stages. They are seeing each other for the first time, probably the first or the second time. It's like, and also for him, like courtship, like to also to be able to arrange to see this person, different dates. um it takes a while because the man is busy. So if news or the pictures get leaked and people start talking about this and start judging it, it's like you spoil it, and maybe it was the first time they saw each other. The second time they saw each other, they met in the same place. It's not like they had been living together for like a year or two. No, they are just getting to know each other, and you guys spoiled it because you posted on the internet and you talk about it and you point your finger and you spoil it. Can I say? And also he's he's a person that he's so indecisive. There's something about him, depending a lot also on what people say. So, with the moon card, he always is like, oh well, if this didn't work out, well, maybe it's because, they were right. Maybe I shouldn't be dating, or maybe I shouldn't be seeing someone because I don't know, maybe that person is, I don't know that person that well, maybe this is destiny that, maybe I'm not supposed to be seeing this person. He convinces himself that well, if people say so, maybe I shouldn't be dating, right? he he's so devoted to, to the audience, like to the fans. I think, he feels so guilty that he also doubts himself. He's like, well, everything happens for a reason. Maybe if this didn't work, and also, there could be that the people that maybe JK started seeing, or went on a date or two, um they were very scared, with the judgment, the moon card. There's something about these people being like the easy target, I would say, because it's really easy to, you know, um, to intimidate these people. Maybe these girls had like a lot to lose. They had a life, and maybe they were exposed, so people were like threatening them, you know, harassing them, being awful, ruining their lives, ruining their reputation. So, they get lucky in that sense, because it's like they push it until they spoil any possibility, and the women run scared. They run for their lives. They don't want anything to do with him. They're like, no, no, yeah, these people are crazy. I back off. you know um I think that in that sense, it can be like a sign that, yeah, maybe it's not the time for him to meet the one. Definitely he needs a very strong woman in his life, someone that will not be easily manipulated or bullied outside the relationship. Someone that will not be, someone that will stand the fight. It's like, yeah, I'm dating him, so what? But probably, there's something about these people in the past just being very vulnerable and not protected, actually left to their luck, being like, well, you knew that he was famous, so you have to embrace that, this is his life. And they ran for their lives. They were like, no, I cannot do this. So maybe also with the kind of the judgment, um there's something about, there's a weakness in here, it's like, yeah, these people are awful, they are bullies, I would say. They go around life doing this for especially the most popular idols, or their favorite idol, or the baby of the group, the Magnus, and all of this. They do this because it is a whole system. They know how to do this. They know how to press. They know how to press, and to make them feel guilty. So it's like, we do this, so they don't date. They don't date. Um, so I think that for JK, this is going to continue like this. This is going to continue like this, because he still cannot see, he still also cannot stand up for his potential partner. He cannot. It's like, what am I going to say? It's my life. But yeah, the crucible also, it could be very, very nice, a very nice experience for someone like him to have this kind of love. But it's ruined. And honestly, I think that also, the last card being the Knight of Swords, maybe this couple of months, the rest of 2025, maybe JK will have to defend himself, like with words, with the statements about a lot of things. Maybe people not only speculating about his love life and who is he dating, if he's dating, because I don't see someone here. Honestly, I see that everyone left. I don't see a specific someone, but I think that there could be judgment towards his person for different kind of things. I don't know. I know something happened, but I think that there could be something else coming as well. So I think that he's getting distracted, or he's not thinking about relationships because he's worried, trying to defend himself, basically. So love is not, no. And also the kind of recuperation and readaptation. Eh, it's yeah, going back to this wild jungle that is being a K-pop idol. Yeah, but it's dramatic, guys. I wish I could tell you, like, oh yeah, no, there's a cute person in here that she's going to stand and she's going to fight them all. No. They all run. They are like, no. They become ghosts. They disappear from any part of the internet or information or pictures. They change. They move out. Is the level of harassment that they must have must be really heavy for them to do that. Yes. Mm. I have a cinnamon candle burning. Oh, cinnamon! Yay! Yeah, I was hoping to get better news, honestly, but but well, you know. Also, I'm going to pull the last three cards for someone left me a question the other day. That is, how would the fans or the audience react to the news of them being in a serious relationship? And let's specify, because rumors about BTS and people, there's always, but maybe finally getting one, um, about them being in a serious committed relationship in the future. Let's see how the people will react. Let's pull cards for that, and then I'm going to go. Let's see. Maybe the cards will surprise us. But yeah, let's see. I'm sure it depends on the member. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. Let's see how they would react when the news is out. How they would react. Ah, I mean, we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Hermit. A lot of people will leave, definitely. A lot of people will call to silence. But not from a place of like, I'm going to create drama and I'm going to say something or do something and then I'm going to leave. I think that the Eight of Cups is acceptance. You know, it's like it hurts me. It hurts me to know this. Like it affects me emotionally because I'm that attached. But slowly I'm detaching myself from them, or I'm not consuming more what they do, or I'm starting to not pay attention to them, and probably I will leave eventually. This is not for all. This is, of course, this is a very general reading. We cannot be reading for everyone, because with the Ace of Wands, I think that the Ace of Wands is like a very strong initial reaction that is very passionate, that is like, we will stand by them, we want them to be happy, and definitely there will be people standing by them and protecting them, definitely. But then, once this fire, or maybe, the time passes and people really start like to see like, oh, this is like a real relationship, real, 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 there could be some that they will check out, they will move on slowly and silently. This is the good thing. This is the maturity, I would say. Because with the Ace of Cups and the Hermit, there's something of like, I, I feel like, yeah, I love them. I love what they do. I admire them, but it's not the same for me. I feel like something has changed. So I will not, throw any hate nor anything, but I will slowly go away and I will go in silence. So in this sense, I'm like very proud. I'm like very proud because there's a level of acceptance, there's like this initiative of like, okay, I understand, this is their life, this is what they deserve, I take acknowledgement. But also the Eight of Cups is like, I guess it's time for me to move on emotionally. Maybe this is for people that are really emotionally attached to certain members, and this news, initially there's a feeling, a very strong desire of like, no, I embrace this new beginning for them, they deserve it, they're so happy. And it's like, yeah, I'm happy for them. This is very honest. Actually, the Ace of Wands is like, yeah, there could be a lot of happiness, or a very vibrant energy, very passionate energy of like, I'm happy for them, yes. But then it's like, something, it's not the same. It's not the same. Now that I know, it's like emotionally, I'm not. So being like, I'm going to, stay away from K-pop. Or in this case, I don't think that it's K-pop, because, people that they could be like, I only follow BTS. But there's something of like, I need, you know. But it's actually very, with the Hermit there's a silence, so I think that this is the greatest part of this all, because sometimes you do have people that when they are disappointed, or they feel like, oh, I'm disappointed in this person because they got married, because they have family, because and they say very like, they criticize a lot, you know morally the idols, and in this case I see them like being called to silence, like, yeah, I will just retreat, and that's it. And I think that that's very it's very nice. I'm surprised. mm, yes. I'm like, wow. But I think that the cards are like, this is why it's is also important for some people to recognize this, that, yeah, you do have fans that are supporting a group because they love the music and they love the members, but there's also people that they depend emotionally. There's an attachment, there's love. Some people are in love with these members or with a member in specific. So it's also acknowledging that, yeah, maybe you are like, oh no, I wouldn't go that far, like they are just idols. Yeah, but there's people that they build this strong connection with them, that when a news like this, like it appears, it seems like, it crashes everything, and it's not the same. So yeah. mm, mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think that initially with the Ace of Wands, there's this very aggressive, like, I'm taking charge, I'm taking charge of the narrative. So I'm like, I'm going to tell everyone that I'm happy for them, that I'm really happy, that this is what we wanted. We wanted them to be to be seen with someone. We wanted them to find love. Um, but yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was very nice, this reading. I did enjoy it. I hope, like, I wish I could give you like more, like a more exciting tea uh, about some members, but the reality is that relationships are complex. And I cannot imagine having those relationships or having those interactions while being a BTS member. Like, let's be real, let's be realistic in that sense. um Sometimes you cannot find the right balance. And there's a lot of restrictions. Definitely, there's a lot of judgment around, idols that date. And probably they also, I are thinking a lot about, they just came back. So I think that maybe mostly they need to focus on their closest connections, family and friends, and not so much being like, oh, I want to get a girlfriend, or a partner. Um, I think that there will be time for that. But yeah, 2025, I don't see it. So yeah, guys. Yeah, I will see you on Sunday. I will create a post because we are in Cancer season. So I'm going to ask you guys to leave me in the comment sections your favorite Cancer idol or artist, and I'm going to read for them. And then I'm going to add a few questions for people that wanted to know about, contracts renewal and about other subjects as well. So yeah, I'm going to do this. Okay. So I'll see you on Sunday. Okay. Bye.